The day my brother published my life story, the entire country cried for him. Millions of people watched him sit on national television with tears in his eyes, talking about the tragic childhood he claimed had nearly destroyed him. He spoke about an abusive father, a struggling mother, endless hospital visits, and years of emotional trauma. Every word was true. Except, it wasn't his story. It was mine. I sat alone in my apartment, staring at the television while strangers flooded his social media with comments calling him the bravest man alive. They bought his best-selling memoir. They donated millions to his foundation. Movie producers fought over the film rights. Meanwhile, the real survivor couldn't even afford rent. My name is Emma Carter. And for 15 years, my own family erased me from my own life. Growing up, everyone loved my older brother, Ryan. Ryan was charming, funny, confident. Teachers adored him. Neighbors called him the perfect son. I was simply there. Quiet children disappear easily, especially when another child shines brighter. When I was 12, I was diagnosed with a rare heart condition. For the next 6 years, hospitals became my second home. Surgery after surgery. Needles. Pain. Fear. Our mother slept beside my hospital bed every night. At least that's what I remembered. Ryan remembered something different. Years later, he claimed he had sacrificed his own childhood caring for his sick little sister. That part was true. Sometimes. But not enough to deserve ownership of my story. Our father died when I was 17. Heart attack. Instant. No goodbye. No warning. Just gone. The loss shattered our family. Mom fell into depression. Ryan became the responsible son everyone admired. I went back to school. Worked part-time. Paid my own medical bills as much as I could. Nobody noticed. When people asked how our family survived, they always looked at Ryan. Never me. Grandma Evelyn noticed. She always noticed. She'd squeeze my hand during family dinners and whisper, "The quiet ones usually carry the heaviest burdens." She understood because she'd lived through her own heartbreak. Her husband abandoned her with 3 children. She built a business from nothing. Lost it. Built another. She knew what invisible strength looked like. One afternoon she asked me something strange. "Emma, do you keep journals?" I nodded. "Every day since I was 11. Never throw them away." I laughed. "They're just old notebooks." "No." She smiled gently. "They're witnesses." At the time I didn't understand. Years passed. My health improved. I became a nurse. Helping frightened patients gave meaning to everything I'd survived. Ryan became a motivational speaker. He loved stages. Loved cameras. Loved applause. One Thanksgiving dinner he announced he was writing a memoir. A story about overcoming impossible odds. Mom cried proudly. Grandma stayed silent. She only looked at me. Her expression worried me. The book launched 18 months later. Its title was Broken but Unbeaten. The first chapter described a terrified 12-year-old lying in a hospital bed after emergency heart surgery. The room spun around me. Every sentence matched my childhood journals. Even tiny details. The stuffed rabbit I refused to sleep without. The nurse named Linda who sang old songs. The ceiling covered in glow-in-the-dark stars. Ryan couldn't possibly remember those things. He wasn't even there for most of them. Only one person had ever read my journals. I drove to her house shaking. She opened the door before I knocked. "You gave him my journals." She burst into tears immediately. I thought he only wanted inspiration. Inspiration. He promised he'd change enough details. He changed one. What? The name. She collapsed into a chair. I never imagined. Neither had I. The book became an international bestseller. Interviews. Awards. Magazine covers. Every speech earned standing ovations. People thanked Ryan for giving them hope. I couldn't tell anyone. Who would believe me? He had publishers. Lawyers. Television appearances. I had dusty notebooks. Then Grandma Evelyn died. At 91. Peacefully. The funeral brought together relatives I hadn't seen in decades. After the service, her attorney handed Ryan and me identical envelopes. Inside mine was a handwritten letter. "Emma, if you're reading this, I was right. Truth always needs time. Go to the old lake house. Behind the fireplace is something I've protected for 20 years. You'll know what to do." My heart raced. Ryan laughed. What kind of treasure hunt is this? I smiled politely. I have no idea. For once. That wasn't true. The lake house hadn't been visited in years. Dust covered everything. The fireplace looked ordinary until I removed one loose brick. Behind it sat a metal box. Inside were dozens of cassette tapes. Hundreds of photographs. Letters. Medical documents. Even old videotapes. Grandma had saved everything. Every hospital visit. Every birthday. Every Christmas. Every conversation. Then I found the label that changed everything. Emma's journals. Photocopies. Grandma had secretly copied every single page decades earlier. Not only that. She'd recorded conversations. Including one from 20 months earlier. Ryan's voice filled the room. I need Emma's journals. Mom sounded nervous. They're private. No one will know. It's still stealing. I'm giving people hope. Ryan. I deserve something extraordinary for once. Silence. Then, I'll put them back. I stopped breathing. He admitted it. On tape. Grandma had known. She'd prepared for this day. But she never exposed him herself. She wanted me to choose. Revenge. Or justice. There is a difference. I contacted the publisher. They ignored me. I contacted Ryan. He laughed. No jury believes cassette tapes in 2026. I almost gave up. Then an investigative journalist emailed me. Anonymous. I think your brother stole this story. Apparently several readers noticed inconsistencies between Ryan's childhood timeline and public records. Someone was asking questions. I answered all of them. 3 months later the documentary aired. It included my journals. Hospital records. Grandma's recordings. Video footage proving Ryan wasn't present during many events he described in detail. Then they played the tape. I need Emma's journals. The country heard every word. The silence afterward was louder than any scream. Ryan's publisher canceled future projects. The movie deal disappeared overnight. Sponsors vanished. His charity shut down after donors demanded refunds. People who once called him inspirational now called him a fraud. But the greatest consequence came unexpectedly. Mom walked out. Not because he lied. Because he never apologized. She told him one sentence before leaving. You didn't just steal Emma's pain. You stole the years I could have spent believing my daughter. A month later Ryan asked to meet. We sat on opposite sides of a quiet cafe. He looked older. Smaller. I lost everything. I stirred my coffee silently. You still have something. What? The ability to tell the truth. He laughed bitterly. Nobody wants the truth anymore. They always did. No. They wanted your version. I stood to leave. He whispered. I'm sorry. For years I imagined hearing those words. I thought they'd heal me. They didn't. Some wounds don't close because someone apologizes. They close because you finally stop waiting. I published my own book the following year. Not about betrayal. Not about revenge. Not even about Ryan. It was about surviving illness without losing kindness. About invisible people. Quiet people. The ones history often forgets. Readers connected with it in ways I never expected. Because it wasn't written to become famous. It was written to become free. On the dedication page I wrote only one sentence. For Grandma Evelyn, who taught me that truth doesn't shout. It waits. The book never sold millions of copies. It never became a movie. It never made me rich. But every word belonged to me. And after spending half my life watching someone else profit from my pain, that was worth more than every dollar my brother ever stole.